Witchcraft is something that in theory and in practice should be equally accessible to both genders. Today I'll be looking at the word witch and how it relates to gender, so I'm sure we'll all have a great time. Hey, I'm Jordan from Grimwire. We'll start first with the fact that witch is a gender-neutral term. Anybody should feel comfortable using it. And that's definitely worth being said because a lot of Hollywood and pop culture specifically say witch means female user and warlock, wizard, sorcerer means male user. And that's just simply not true. Anybody can use the word witch, Wicca, or practice Wicca. It just doesn't matter. And this is important to point out because while most modern circles are great at accepting men, I've even seen some people completely oblivious to the fact that men do have a hard time fitting in witchcraft circles. There's several groups that through varying means, either intentionally or unintentionally, peacefully or aggressively, they separate themselves from men. And later on in the video, I'll definitely discuss why women totally do deserve a spiritual place. But what I'm referencing right now is prejudice towards men, and in some cases even trans women. A whole lot of the power of motherhood, double X chromosome, power type narratives that I've heard over the years. Men, of course, can practice witchcraft and call themselves a witch, no matter what anyone says. But as I try to do, let's dig into at least a little bit of nuance here. The rest of the video is coming from two main places. The first being validating men who don't feel comfortable using the word witch. And the second, hello there, Floofy. And the second being kind of half calling out people who summarize this as saying a witch is a witch is a witch. You have to call yourself a witch because it's a gender neutral term. And 2.5 is definitely calling out people who get on other people for using the term warlock. Fine, you can call yourself it, but it means traitor, oath breaker. So let's get started. There definitely seems to be a heritage of female empowerment through the tradition of witchcraft. Historically, women have gone through a lot of shit. Oh, wait, you're still going through a lot of it today? They're still going through a lot of it today. And that's to put it lightly. One of the areas where it's like the clearest written in stone difference is definitely in the realm of religion and the roles that each gender plays. Although not always in theory what their texts actually say, almost always in practice, women have been historically discriminated against. So I feel for women having and deserving that space. There's definitely that void, and so it's bound to fill itself. Men, including myself, have noticed that. And besides knowing that we're technically able to call ourselves a witch, we've noticed that the word seems to find its heart and home with women who have either learned from other women or have come together with other women to, work on those energies that haven't always been historically celebrated. And especially when a lot of that is generational, passed from woman to woman through generations, it at least feels a little bit disingenuous to me for me to stand up in a crowd of witches and say, I'm a witch. And what I mean by that is close enough to what you mean to at least use the same term. And just to totally be clear, I am not saying
witch, that's a girly word, and me, I'm a boy.
It's about context. When I'm with my girlfriend and a group of regular people, if the conversation came up, I'd be like, yeah, I'm a witch, just with a little bit of a different, backstory. And I think there's definitely a few reasons for that, mostly dealing with just language and how it works. First is the problem with action versus identity. I like to garden. That's true. I don't think of myself as a gardener. I do dishes. I'm not a dishwasher. I cook, and I've never called myself a cook. I work with Christ as a deity, but I don't like calling myself a quote Christian, just by itself. And just because I do witchcraft doesn't mean I like identifying with the term witch. And also there's just plain different energies and words with different syllables. What's oftentimes brought up is warlock. I don't personally identify with that term either, but I definitely feel a lot of energy in there I vibe with. I even kind of like the term witcher. As I was thinking about it, I thought it was kind of cool, but I think that's its own thing by now. So I guess just for me, too much of what I do and what I believe, meditation, gnosis, banishing rituals of the pentagram, even though I've seen other witches do them, they don't come from the same tradition. I personally prefer the term magician, which is common among Thelema. The used term, to me, that pretty much just means spellcasting mystic. And also, I always just say, I'm just the guy who does stuff. And I guess my main point is to open the conversation, to validate. Don't feel forced to pick a label. And men, if you feel like me and don't feel quite comfortable, walking into women's spaces out of respect, look around. There's tons of other paths and traditions you can work with and become a part of instead and as well. I think it's totally important to engage with that, feminine energy and that feminine, structure. But I also think everybody deserves to feel, quote, at home. For the last little aside, like I promised, for some reason modern Wicca has really taken up a problem with the term warlock. For most of history, it was used by Christians derogatorily towards male magic users. I mean, they usually get it right. It means traitor, liar, deceiver. But it was always been used by Christians to refer to, magic users because they were traitor, liar, deceivers against Christianity. And so in the modern age, men have definitely started to reclaim that. It's been used in pop culture and historically, and they've started to reclaim that. And apparently Wiccans feel like, because they also use the word in that way too, that we all have to respect that that's a horrible word. So, if you want to use it that way, like, it's up to you to use words how you want to use them. But I've seen people be pretty nasty and mean to beginners who like the word and vibe with it and want to reclaim it, and they're just peer pressured into not using it. So just don't be jerks. Thank you for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I've been wanting to put together a question and answer type video. So if you have any questions at all relating to magic, spirituality, witchcraft, religion, practice or theory, philosophy, science, anything like that, go ahead, leave them in the discussions in the comments below.